I stepped inside, sweat still clinging to my back from practice. All I wanted was a bottle of water. My fingers brushed the cracked screen of my phone as I scanned the aisle. "Hey!" His voice hit like a slap. I froze. My eyes met his, hard. Cold, like I'd done something just by existing. "You're not supposed to be here. Leave." My throat tightened. "What? I'm buying something. Just water." He took a step closer, boots heavy on the floor. "Out, now." I glanced at the cooler, then back at him. His fists clenched at his sides. I tried to steady my voice. "I have money." "I'm not." His hand shoved my chest. My body rocked back. I barely caught myself, palms scraping the metal shelf behind. My breath hitched. My heart pounded so loud I thought the whole store could hear it. You can't do that." "I didn't," his lip curled. "You people always have excuses." I felt my face burn, my hands shake. Around me, shoppers froze, their eyes wide, then, like someone flipped a switch, they looked away, like I wasn't there. Like I didn't matter. My voice dropped low. All I wanted was water. "Out." I stared at him. I didn't move. "Couldn't," I said, "get out?" His voice rose, sharp and cutting. I reached for my phone, fingers fumbling. My voice trembled as I hit Dad's name. The dial tone felt like forever. "Come on." "Come on." His smirk made my stomach twist. He leaned closer. "Who you calling? Ain't nobody saving you?" The phone clicked. "Dad?" My voice cracked. "What's wrong?" His voice strong, steady, but I heard the edge beneath. A guard?" He shoved me. "Sod, I don't belong." I didn't do anything, I swear." I heard his breath catch. "Where are you?" "Market Plaza." "I'm coming. Don't move. Don't let him touch you again." Okay." I lowered the phone, my grip tight. The guard folded his arms, satisfied like he'd won. I kept my back straight. My chest ached from the shove. My eyes burned, but I wouldn't let them see me cry. The air felt heavy. Every second dragged. I felt like everyone watched, but no one saw me, I whispered, more to myself than him. "My dad's coming." His smirk stayed. "Good, maybe he'll teach you some manners." My fists clenched at my sides. I'd bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. "Stay calm," I told myself. "Stay calm." But inside, I felt something breaking. The phone felt like it weighed 100 pounds in my hand. Every ring drilled deeper into my chest. Then I heard him. Dad's voice, steady but sharp enough to cut glass. "Where are you? Who touched you?" I swallowed hard. My mouth was dry, my heart racing so loud I could barely hear myself speak. "Store. Market Plaza." "The guard?" He shoved me. He said I don't belong. Silence for half a beat. Then I heard him breathe, slow at first, then sharper, like he was trying to hold something back. "Stay, I'm coming." "Don't move." My fingers tightened on the phone. The guard was still there, arms crossed, smirking like he'd won some. "Game I didn't even know I was playing. Who you calling?" His voice was low but dripping with contempt. "Ain't no one saving you." My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. I stared at him. My voice was low but steady this time. "We'll see." He didn't like that. His smirk twitched like I'd struck a nerve. I heard a shuffle behind me. A clerk, younger than the guard, voice barely a whisper. "Kid, just go. Don't make it worse." I turned, my fists shaking. My voice came out sharper than I intended. "Why?" "Should I? I didn't steal. I didn't do anything." The clerk looked at the floor, guilt written all over his face. He didn't answer. My mind raced. I thought about running, but my feet felt glued to the tile. I thought about the stares of the people pretending not to see. My throat burned. "Dad's coming," I muttered, more to myself than anyone else. The guard chuckled under his breath. "Daddy's boy, huh?" My hands curled into fists at my sides. My heart pounded. I wanted to yell, to shove him back, to make him feel the way I did, small, humiliated, powerless. But I stood still. I could hear Dad's voice in my head. From 100 talks we'd had before. "Don't give them what they want. Make them answer for it with their own words, not yours." I forced my hands open. I forced my breath to slow. "You don't get to do this," I said, my voice low, shaking but fierce. "Not today." The guard didn't answer, but his eyes shifted, just for a second. and I saw it doubt. I kept my eyes on the door. Every second felt like a year, but I knew Dad was coming. And this wasn't over. The glass doors swung open so hard I thought they might shatter. And there he was, Dad. I'd never seen him like that. His face was stone, but his eyes burned like fire. The whole store seemed to go silent. I couldn't even hear my own breath anymore. The guard straightened up, like maybe he thought he could talk his way out of this. Sir, can I help? Dad's voice cut through him, low, controlled, lethal. Did you touch my son? The guard blinked. His mouth opened, closed. He swallowed. Sir, he was causing a scene. Dad took a step forward. His words came slower this time, like each one weighed a ton. Did you put your hands on him? The guard froze. For the first time, I saw it. The fear under that smirk. I couldn't move. My fists unclenched, but my whole body still felt tight, like I might fly apart at any second. Shoppers started whispering. Phones came out, cameras. The whole world felt like it was watching. Finally, the guard stammered. His voice cracked. I just tried to... He wouldn't leave. Dad didn't blink? You're fired. Now, the words dropped like thunder. The guard's face turned red, then pale. Sir, please. I didn't mean... It was just... Dad's voice dropped even lower. You put your hands on my son. In front of witnesses. In front of cameras. Do you want to explain it to the news or to a judge? The guard's mouth opened again, but nothing came out. His eyes darted around like maybe someone was going to save him. No one did. I felt something loosen in my chest, like I could finally breathe, just a little. Dad looked at me then. His face softened just for a second. You okay? I nodded, though my throat felt tight. I'm here now, he said, quieter. He doesn't get to hurt? You, not anymore, I wanted to speak. Wanted to say thank you, or I'm sorry, or I'm fine. But no words came. Just the burn behind my eyes and the weight lifting off my shoulders. The guard stepped back. His voice was small now. Sir, please. I didn't know who he was. Dad's eyes narrowed. You didn't have to know. You just had to see him as a person, and you failed? The silence in the store was deafening. I stood there, heart pounding, watching as the man who shoved me tried to shrink into nothing. And for the first time that day, I didn't feel small. Sir, let's not escalate, I heard the manager's voice, shaky like he knew he'd walked into a fire he couldn't put out. His polished shoes clicked too loud on the tile, his suit jacket hanging crooked. My dad didn't even turn to face him at first. His focus was locked on the guard, and the heat rolling off him made my skin prickle. Escalate? Dad's voice was low, but each word felt like a hammer. You have a racist working here? Escalate? I could feel everyone watching now, phones up, faces pretending they weren't entertained. The manager wiped his brow, his voice turning. Soft, like he thought kindness could smother the blaze. I'm sure it's a misunderstanding, he said, hands raised like I might lunge at him. Dad turned then, slow, deliberate. Misunderstanding? His laugh was hollow, sharp. He shoved my son out of this store. That your idea of a misunderstanding? The manager flinched. The guard shifted beside him, staring down at his boots. My heart pounded so loud it almost drowned them out. I wanted to scream, to shake them. But my throat burned, my words stuck behind the lump of rage. Sir, I assure you, we value all our customers. The manager tried again, his voice cracking at the edges. If we could just step into my office. Dad took a step closer. Right here, say it here, in front of everyone. Tell my son why he was thrown out. I saw the manager glance around, saw his panic mount as the cameras caught every second. The guard mumbled. I was just doing my job. Your job? I choked on the words, my fists clenching at my sides. Your job is to humiliate people like me? Throw kids out because they don't fit your picture of a customer? No one answered. The silence from the crowd cut deeper than the shove had. You. All saw it, I said, my voice breaking. Why didn't any of you stop him? A woman near the front lowered her phone for a second. I didn't want to get involved, she said, almost too quiet to hear. Her friend elbowed her and they both turned away, pretending they weren't part of it. Cowards, all of them. My chest heaved, my eyes burning. Son, Dad's voice softened and he put a hand on my shoulder. You don't owe them anything. But I couldn't stop. Not now. You're all standing there watching. Is it a show to you? Is this fun? Some black kid getting shoved around, does that make your day? No one spoke. Just the soft click of phones recording, a cough in the back, the hum of lights overhead. The manager cleared his throat. Sir, I'll have to contact corporate. This isn't protocol. Do that, Dad said. Call them. Call whoever you want, but you'll explain to them, and to me, why this happened. Now, the guard's lip trembled. I didn't mean, you meant every bit of it, I snapped. You meant to show me I don't belong here. The weight of my words hung between us. My pulse roared in my ears. For the first time, the guard looked at me, really looked, and I saw the regret, or maybe just the fear of losing his job. Dad straightened his shoulders. His voice dropped to that quiet steel that always meant the storm wasn't over, just beginning. This isn't done? Not by a long shot? The manager nodded, sweat beading on his forehead. Yes, sir. We'll handle it. You'll do better than that, Dad said. You'll remember this. Every time you look at a kid who walks through that door. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. My hands were still shaking. We turned to leave, but I didn't miss the looks, the shame, the fear. The people realizing maybe they should have done something. Maybe I walked out taller than I'd come in. And I knew they'd remember. I thought he was stealing. I was just doing my job. His voice cracked like he was trying to convince himself more than us. I stared at him. My breath was tight in my chest, but my words came out sharp. Your job? Your job is throwing out kids who look like me? Dad didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. His words cut through the air like a blade. Because he's black? The guard's eyes darted everywhere but at me. No, sir. That's not... I didn't mean... Then why? Dad's tone stayed calm, but it carried that weight, that heat that made the space between us feel small. Why him? Why not any of these others? He swept a hand out toward the crowd that still hung on every word, their phones recording, their faces pale. I don't know. The guard's voice dropped to a whisper. Please. I clenched my fist, trying to steady my breathing. My heart was pounding so hard I felt dizzy. You don't know? I spat the words, my voice rising despite myself. You looked at me and you decided just like that. I didn't mean to... Didn't mean to what? I snapped. Didn't mean to shove me? Didn't mean to humiliate me? Didn't mean to remind everyone here what they already think about people like me? The guard's mouth opened, but no sound came out. His hands trembled at his sides. Dad stepped forward. His voice dropped lower, dangerous. You humiliated my son in front of a crowd. Now you answer to him. I could feel every pair of eyes in that store burning into us. The manager shifted, uncomfortably beside the guard, looking like he wanted to melt into the floor. I'm sorry, the guard finally said, voice shaking. I didn't think, I just reacted. That's the problem, I shot back. You didn't think. You saw me and that was enough. I swear, I didn't mean for it to go like this, he mumbled, staring at the ground. I took a shaky breath, my chest tight with all the things I wanted to say and didn't know how. But it did go like this. You can't take it back. You can't undo what you showed me, what you showed everyone here. I'm not like that, he whispered. I laughed bitterly. You were like that, or you wouldn't be standing here trying to convince yourself otherwise. Dad folded his arms, his eyes locked on the guard. You'll have to live with this. Every time you see a kid who looks like my son, you'll remember how you treated him. And maybe next time you'll think first. The guard's lip quivered. Please, no, my voice was firm now, steady. Don't beg. Don't make this about you. The manager cleared his throat, his voice small. We should maybe step into the office, sir. No, Dad said flatly. No hiding, no backroom apologies. Let them see. Let them hear every word. I could feel the weight of it all, pressing down on me. The shame, the rage, the hollow space where my trust used to be. But I stood tall. I wouldn't let them see me small. The guard shook his head like he wanted to erase the last 5 minutes. I'm sorry, he whispered again. But this time even he sounded like he didn't believe it. I turned, my voice low but clear. You'll remember my face. You'll remember what you did. And so will I. The glow of phones blinded me. Everywhere. I looked, screens, lenses, hungry eyes. I heard the hum of streaming apps going live, the soft chime of notifications, the whisper of people sharing, watching, judging. My heart thudded, but I didn't back down. Not this time, a voice cut through the noise. Sir, can we, reporter? Microphone out like it could catch our pain and sell it for clicks. Dad didn't even glance at him. No comment, he said, his tone like stone. Let the video speak. The reporter hesitated, then stepped back, realizing there was nothing more he could squeeze from us. The camera stayed. The phone stayed. The crowd leaned in closer, their curiosity a weight pressing on my chest. I felt naked. Every breath, every tremble, every flicker of rage or shame, it was all theirs now. But underneath that, deep in my gut, something else flickered. Power. I wasn't invisible anymore. They saw me. They saw us. Please. The guard's voice cracked. He was shaking now, his hands out like he could push the cameras away, as if they were physical things. Don't ruin my life over this. I swear, I didn't mean, I'm not. I met his eyes. My voice came out low, steady, colder. Than I thought I could be. You tried to ruin mine. The words felt final, heavy. His shoulders sagged like they'd hit him, harder than my father's anger ever could. Dad stood tall beside me, his voice carrying through the silence that followed. Actions have consequences. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. The truth in his words was loud enough. I swallowed hard, my throat dry as dust. My pulse roared in my ears. The faces in the crowd blurred, not because I couldn't see, but because I couldn't care. Let them film. Let them post. Let the world see. The guard's mouth opened, closed, opened again. I've got a family, please. Don't do this. I didn't think, I just reacted. I felt my fists clench. I forced them to relax. Exactly, you didn't think. You saw me, and that was all it took. I'm sorry. The words spilled out of him now, fast, desperate. I'm so sorry. But I couldn't tell if he meant it, or if he was just sorry the world was watching. Dad shook his head. You should have thought about that before you laid hands on my son. A murmur rippled through the crowd. The reporter tried again. Sir, just one statement for... Dad didn't even look his way. No comment. I could feel my legs trembling, but I stood my ground. I wanted to run, to hide from all those eyes, but I wouldn't give them that. I wouldn't give him that. You'll... Remember this, I said quietly, my voice barely more than a breath. Every time you look at someone who looks like me, you'll remember today. The guard's eyes glistened, maybe tears. Maybe just sweat? He didn't say anything else? There was nothing left to say. I took a slow breath, my heart still racing, and turned to Dad. His jaw was tight, his eyes burning with pride and fury all at once. We didn't need to speak. We just started walking, leaving the cameras, the whispers, the guard, the store, leaving it all behind, but I knew the story wasn't over. Not yet. The car door shut with a dull thud, sealing us inside a heavy silence. I stared out the window, watching streetlights blur past. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I don't get it, I finally muttered. My voice felt small in the space between. You ask, why does this always happen? Dad kept his eyes on the road, his jaw tight. It shouldn't, but when it does, you stand tall. I clenched my fists, nails biting into my palms. Tall? My laugh was hollow. I felt so small, like I didn't exist to them. His hand left the wheel just long enough to grip my shoulder, firm, grounding. Not anymore. I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But all I could see were their faces, the stares, the judgment, the way they looked at me like I didn't belong. I swallowed hard, my throat burning. I hated it, I whispered. I hated how they looked at me, like I wasn't human. Dad sighed, the sound heavy with a pain I knew too well. They don't see. But that doesn't change who you are. The streetlights flickered across his face, shadows and light. Like the weight he carried, I stared down at my trembling hands. I wanted to yell, I wanted to break something. But I couldn't. You did enough, he said quietly. You kept your head. You showed them who had the real strength. My chest ached. I wasn't sure if it was pride or grief or both. Tangled together, silence settled again, but it wasn't empty this time. It was the sound of understanding, of wounds seen and shared. The engine hummed beneath us as the city blurred by, but I didn't look out anymore. I closed my eyes and let Dad's words replay in my head. Not anymore? Asterisk, the room smelled like stale coffee and cheap carpet cleaner. I sat across from him, this guard who had shoved me out like I didn't belong. The manager sat beside him, hands folded, face tight, like he wanted this over before it even began. My dad sat beside me, silent, but his presence felt like a wall behind me. I kept my eyes on the table at first, tracing a scratch in the wood. With my finger, the manager cleared his throat. We regret the incident that took place the other day. Dad's voice cut through the air, calm, sharp. Incident? I lifted my gaze. The guard shifted in his chair, looking anywhere but at me. His hands fidgeted, one thumb scraping at his fingernail, like he could erase what he'd done if he just kept scraping hard enough. Call it what it was, I said, my voice low but steady. My heart pounded so loud I was sure they could hear. Say it? Silence stretched, thick and heavy. I was wrong, the guard muttered. His eyes stayed on the table. I'm sorry. The words were empty, like he'd swallowed them whole and spit them out without tasting them. But they hung in the air, and somehow, hearing them mattered even if they didn't feel real. Dad didn't move, didn't speak. His stare was enough to make the manager shift in his seat. The manager forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. We hope we can put this behind us. We'll be reviewing our staff training to ensure... Don't, Dad interrupted. His voice was still ice. Don't insult us with a speech. You don't need a review. You need decency. I felt heat rise in my chest. I looked at the guard. Really looked at him. You didn't even hesitate? You didn't ask? You didn't think? You just decided I didn't belong? His mouth opened, but no words came out. His throat worked like he wanted to say something, maybe to defend himself, maybe to explain, but he closed it again. I leaned back, breath shaky. You can't undo it, but I need to know you understand it. He finally looked at me, just for a second. His eyes were small, tired, maybe ashamed, but maybe just trapped. I didn't think. I judged you. That was wrong. I'm sorry. It still didn't feel enough. But it was more than before. Dad stood. We're done here. The manager scrambled up. Of course again. Our deepest regrets. Dad didn't answer. He walked toward the door and I followed. My legs felt heavy, like I was walking through water. As we reached the hallway, I heard the guard's voice, small behind. I am sorry. I didn't look back. I didn't trust myself to. I just kept walking, my father's steady steps beside me, my heart a storm. I wasn't ready to calm. The phone rang again. Same unknown number. Same desperation I could feel through the screen. I let it ring. Let it echo in the quiet of my room like a reminder of everything I didn't ask for. My thumb hovered over the decline button, but I answered, hello? My voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded tired, hollow. Please, it's me. His voice cracked. It's Eric. I didn't speak. I could hear him breathing, quick and shaky. I could hear the weight of everything he'd done finally crushing down on him. You have to stop it, please. The videos, the articles. My family... They're getting threats. My wife's crying. My kids are scared to go to school. I closed my eyes. His words tangled with the memories of his hands shoving me out that door, of the ground scraping my palms, of the way he didn't even flinch when I hit the sidewalk. I didn't mean... His voice broke again. I didn't mean for this to happen. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. What was there to say? That I forgave him? That I didn't? That I understood? I didn't understand how someone could see me and decide I didn't belong. I didn't understand how it took the whole world watching for him to feel sorry. Please, he whispered. Please, I'm begging you. Tell them to stop. Call off the press. I don't know what to do anymore. I heard footsteps behind me. Dad's voice, low but firm. Who is it? I didn't look at him. I couldn't. It's him, I said. My voice flat. He wants us to make it stop. Dad didn't hesitate. It's not our job to save him from himself. I felt the truth of it settle in my chest. Heavy, final. Eric kept talking. His words blurred. I didn't want this. I panicked. I don't know what I thought. Please, just make it stop. I pulled the phone from my ear, stared at the screen like it might give me answers. Like it might show me the moment all of this changed. The moment he decided I wasn't worth decency. I can't help you, I said quietly. I won't. I ended the call. Silence filled the room again. Dad's hand rested on my shoulder, solid, steady. I didn't look at him. I just stared at the dark screen, listening to the echo of Eric's voice in my head, his begging, his fear, and I felt nothing. I stared at my phone screen, thumb hovering over the glowing notifications. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. I didn't know anymore. The headlines kept changing, but my face stayed frozen in the same image, that moment, that shove, that fall. Over and over again, like the world couldn't get enough of my humiliation. Dad's voice came from behind me, firm, protective. Don't read it, I already did. My voice sounded small in the room, swallowed by the weight of it all. His sigh filled the silence. It'll only make it worse. People talk, let them. They don't just talk, Dad, they choose sides. I turned the phone so he could see. The comments blurred together, anger and support twisted in the same breath. Look at this, I'm a hero, I'm a liar, I'm a victim. I'm an attention seeker, which one is it? He sat beside me, resting his hand on mine. You are my son, that's what matters. Let the world burn itself out. But I couldn't let it go. Every word felt like a stone thrown at me or for me, and I didn't know which hurt more. You saw what they're saying about you? I asked him. I don't care. They're calling you a bully. A rich man throwing his weight around. He met my eyes, calm, steady. Let them, I swallowed hard. The screen blurred for a second as tears threatened, but I blinked them. Away. My fingers moved, almost without thinking, opening the notes app. I need to say something. Son, no, I have to. My thumbs flew over the keys, the words pouring out as fast as my heartbeat. You never saw me as human. No. See me as your lesson. I stared at it. Just that, no hashtags. No explanations, just truth. I hit post, Dad didn't stop me. He just watched. His silence was louder than any speech. The notifications exploded, almost instantly. Likes, shares, comments, the world grabbing at my pain. My anger, my defiance. I put the phone down, my hands trembling. My chest felt tight, like I'd just jumped off a cliff and was waiting to hit the water. Dad spoke softly. Are you ready for what comes next? No, I whispered. But it's coming anyway. And I sat there, in the quiet storm of it all, listening to the sound of my heart pounding louder than the world outside. The wood of the witness stand felt cold under my hands. Or maybe it was my palms that were cold. My heart pounded in my ears. But I kept my chin up. I could see him, the guard, sitting just a few feet away. His shoulders hunched like the weight of the world had finally found him. The judge's voice was sharp. We'll proceed. Our lawyer stood, his voice calm, steady. Your Honor, my clients have simply shared the truth. What happened was witnessed, recorded, and seen by millions. We're not here because of a lie. We're here because of discomfort with that truth. I felt Dad's presence beside me, solid as stone. He hadn't said much today, but he didn't need to. Every glance from him was a reminder. We were right to stand up. The opposing lawyer rose. His words felt slick, rehearsed. This has caused irreparable harm to my client's business. Public defamation, loss of revenue, death threats. My mouth tightened. I spoke before I even thought. What about what it caused me? My voice echoed too loudly. All eyes turned. What about the shove? The humiliation? The nights I couldn't sleep because I kept seeing his face when he threw me out? The judge raised a hand. Let's keep this orderly. But I saw it, the guard's face crumple, his eyes wet, his mouth trembling. Dad leaned toward me, his whisper like steel. "Stay steady," I breathed out slow. "I'm steady." The judge's gavel came down, the sound slicing through the tension. "The court finds no grounds for defamation. The case is dismissed." I felt the air leave the room. The store's team sank in their chairs. The guard didn't move at first. Then, slowly, his head dropped into his hands. His voice broke the heavy silence. Please, I have nothing left. I'm sorry. I didn't know what I felt standing there watching him break apart. Pity. No, relief, not quite. Just tired. I stepped down, my legs shaky but sure. As we left, Dad's arm around my shoulder felt warmer than the sunlight waiting outside, and I didn't look back. The microphone felt cold beneath my fingers, but my palms were hot, damp with sweat, heavy with everything I hadn't said. I heard the crowd's quiet, the weight of their waiting. My heart raced, but my feet felt planted, solid. Dad's voice broke the silence first, strong and steady. "This isn't about revenge." His words rolled out over the heads of the crowd, and I felt them land, each syllable cutting through the tension. "It's about change. It's about finally saying no more." I stared at him, at the way his shoulders squared against the world, and then I took my step forward. My breath shook as I drew it in, but when I spoke, my voice didn't waver. I was pushed out that door. The words echoed louder than I expected. I let them hang there, let them settle. But I won't be silent. Not now, not ever again. The sound that rose from the crowd was like a wave, crashing cheers, claps, shouts of support that seemed to lift me. I raised my hand, and somehow the noise softened. I was shoved aside because of the color of my skin, because someone thought power gave him the right to decide who belonged. But today I say this to all of them, to all of you watching. Let this be the last time someone thinks they can shove us aside. My chest heaved. I felt every eye on me. Some were wet with tears, some wide with hope, some tight with guilt, maybe. I didn't care. I wasn't speaking for them. Dad stepped beside me, his hand firm on my shoulder. "Son," just that one word. But it filled me with more strength than any speech. I kept going. "They tried to make me small, but look at this." I swept my hand at the crowd, at the cameras, at the world watching. "We're not small, we're here. And we're done asking to be seen." A woman's voice broke through the noise. "Tell it." And I did. Today isn't about me. It's about every person who's been pushed down, shut out, told they didn't matter. We matter, we always did. And now you're going to hear us. I saw heads nodding, fists raised. I felt the energy crackle around me, like the world was shifting beneath my feet. Dad leaned in, his whisper like thunder in my ear. "This is just the beginning." And I knew he was right. The applause roared, the cameras flashed. But I didn't see them anymore. I only felt the truth of it all, and the weight lifted, finally, from my chest. I had spoken. And this time they had listened. The house was quiet, too quiet. I could hear the tick of the clock on the wall, each second loud, steady, like it was counting down to something I couldn't see. I sat on the edge of my bed, elbows on my knees, staring at the floor, at my hands, at nothing. My chest felt tight, like the weight of the day hadn't lifted. I stood up, walked to the mirror. My face stared back at me, tired eyes, clenched jaw, the faint tremble in my fingers. "You're strong," I whispered. My voice was hoarse. Low, I swallowed hard. "You were always strong." The reflection didn't argue. It just stared back, waiting, daring me to believe it. The door creaked open behind me, and I saw him in the mirror. Dad, he didn't say anything at first. Just stepped inside, closed the door soft, like he was afraid to break the fragile quiet. He sat on the bed, patted the space next to him. I turned, walked over, sat down. We didn't look at each other. "Not at first. I'm proud of you," he said. His voice was low, but steady. Like he meant it. Like he needed me to hear it more than anything else. I let the words hang in the air for a second, like I was testing them. Did I believe him? Could I? I took a breath, deep, shaky. My voice cracked when I spoke. I didn't know if I could. Do it. You did? His hand found my shoulder, firm, warm. And you did it with your head high? I felt like I was breaking. I stared at the floor, at the shadows on the carpet. Like any second I was gonna fall apart. But you didn't? His hand tightened, just for a second. You didn't. I let out a breath I hadn't known I'd been holding. My chest felt looser. My shoulders dropped an inch. I stopped, swallowed, tried again. I thought I had to be what they wanted. All this time, he shook his head. No, you had to be you, and you were. You are. I looked at him then, really. Looked, the lines on his face, the weariness in his eyes. But beneath it, pride, real pride. And for the first time, I believed it. Thanks, Dad. The words felt small, but they were all I had. We sat there, quiet. The house around us stayed still. The clock kept ticking. But inside me, the storm had calmed. I looked back at the mirror. And this time, when I saw my reflection, I saw strength. Real strength. And I nodded at it. You're strong, I whispered again. And this time I believed it too.